Alright guys, today I'm going to be reviewing Alpengeist at Busch Williamsburg. This is the B&M invert here, and it is easily my favorite B&M invert personally, and I'll explain why in this review. So to start off with theming and presentation, it excels in this area. For a non-Disney or Universal park, this is amazing. You have like a ton of like snow around the ride. You'll see like a bunch of like skis and a guy skiing and all that stuff. It looks really cool, but my favorite part about all this is that the lift hill is designed to look like a ski lift, which I thought was really cool. Definitely great presentation. And the whole area around it just looks amazing, like the rest of the park. So when you get to the top of that lift hill, which is, by the way, 195 feet tall, which is hilarious, you're going to go down your first drop. It's not the best first drop in the world, I'll say that. It's like beyond 180 degrees twisted, if that makes any sense. Like it twists under the drop, or the lift hill, I mean. It's really weird. It's not the greatest thing of all time. You're not going to get air time. You're not really going to get whipped over it too hard, but it's really just there to get you some speed. Then you're going to go into an Immelman. This is really intense. You'll definitely start feeling your legs go numb here, and this is going to be sustained for a while. Like, this isn't just your quick Batman the ride. Oh, it's pretty intense here. Like, no, this is sustained. If I-305 was an invert and a bit weaker, Alpengeist would be what you get. Then you're going to go into a really intense vertical loop. Again, your feet are numb for the entire time. Just those positive G's are piling on you. It is a bit shaky. This ride is a bit shaky. I'll touch on that a bit more later. This vertical loop's really intense, and you combine that with the last element. It's crazy, this sequence. Then you're going to enter like this little kind of curve, kind of straight track, really does nothing. Your feet feel normal for a second, but then you are whipped right into potentially my favorite inversion of all time, the Cobra Roll. This ain't your average Cobra Roll, no. This thing tries to kill you. I swear to God, if I-305 had an inversion, this would be the inversion it has. Like, again, I compare it a lot to I-305, and that's a good thing. So basically, you start rising up into this element, and then you just snap. You just snap right side up, and again, like your feet are normal, like the positives aren't really piling on too much. And then like in most Cobra rolls, like you'd at least somewhat smoothly exit like each transition, like even like a Vekoma boomerang or something like that. Think of like you don't just snap like you would on like I-305's triple snaps or something like that. On the two transitions, on Alpengeist's Cobra Roll, oh my God, I don't even know how to describe them. Like, it's like the triple snaps, I'm telling you. You just snap out of the first inversion, and your feet just instantly go numb. Like, any other time, like, your feet are going to go numb on any other ride I've been on. Like, it, like, gradually, like, the positives just, like, gradually start piling on. Like, no, here you go from, like, nothing to some of the most positives you've ever felt on any coaster. Your feet are numb through the entire non-inverted part of the ride. Or, I'm sorry, the element. I mean, basically the ride, but this element especially. And then, again, you have another insane snap. These snaps send you, like, violently tossed around, like, laterally as well. You have another one of those violent snaps, and then you'll exit the Cobra Roll, and this is where, like, it's at its most intense. The Cobra Roll is my favorite part because of how whippy it is. but this valley between the Cobra Roll and the mid-course brake run is where the positive G's are the highest. Like, oh my god. I rode I-305 the next day, but like, this was something to prepare me for that. Like, this is honestly the second most intense coaster I've ever ridden, even more intense than X2. The transition into the mid-course is kind of abrupt, but I don't know, it just adds an extra lateral jolt. Then you're going to drop off the mid-course. You don't really get any airtime. I mean, maybe a little floater in the back. I don't know, nothing really too special though. Then you're going to enter the part of the ride that everyone says is a real dud. I mean, I guess I could see where they're coming from. I still think it's really fun. The 0G roll is a bit whippier than some people say. It's definitely not the greatest 0G roll in the world. Same kind of goes for the corkscrew. It's a bit better than some people say, but it's still nothing that's going to blow your mind like the rest of the ride. And then you got a slow helix over some snow. That's kind of cool, I guess, because you're looking at snow, but the positives aren't really existent there. And then you're hitting the brake run. So as you can tell, this ride's kind of carried by its first half. That first half is just absolutely out of this world intense, like something you're only going to find on like I-305. I mentioned the roughness earlier. Yeah, this ride's rough. You can especially tell in the first half because that's where it's most intense. You're going the fastest. Yeah, it's really rough. It's not quite as rough as like Hydra to the point where like I can't stand it. Like Hydra, the roughness ruins the ride for me. This, it doesn't ruin the ride quite, but if you don't have your head forward, you're screwed. Let's just say that. Especially with how whippy these transitions are, like, you're screwed if you don't have your head forward. Seat selection, I literally only rode the back row. Out of my 6 rides I got on this, the only row I sat in was the back row. And I usually like the back row on inverts. I don't think there's a single invert I prefer in the front row. So I don't regret not getting a front row ride, especially since front row usually had an extra couple ride waits, while the back row was really a walk-on. I think what's more important, though, probably is the side you sit on. I'd sit on the unload side personally, because that's where you're going to get the most whip on that Cobra roll. Load side's also really fun on that Cobra roll, but not quite as whippy as the unload side. So for Alpengeist's final score, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Again, that second half is kind of a dud, but it's a bit better than some people say. But the first half is just incredible. This is not for everybody. This is another case like I-305 where it's too intense for some people, I'd say. Again, the best way to describe it is if I-305 was an inverted coaster, this is what it would be. Again, that Cobra roll is probably my favorite inversion of all time. The intensity is just nonstop in that first half. Like, and it gets more and more intense as it goes on throughout that first half. Like, that's why it's my second favorite B&M, even ahead of all the Gigas. Like, obviously not Fury, but it's not that far behind Fury, honestly. Like, this thing's incredible. It's easily the best B&M invert probably in the world. I mean, like, I can see Nemesis or Black Mamba maybe being better, but like Montu, come on. You can't tell me Montu's better than Alpengeist. But yeah, this ride's not for everyone. If you're not into balls to the wall intense rides that are a bit rougher, this is not your thing. But if you're like me, then this is going to be one of your favorite coasters. So that's my review of Alpengeist at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Let me know what you guys thought about in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.